Right Guys podcast where we celebrate Juneteenth. And now your hosts, Josh Hammerling and Max McGuire.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Right Guys podcast. My name is Max McGuire here with Mr. Producer Josh Hammerling. Happy Juneteenth.
Happy Juneteenth, man. I mean, I woke this morning. I baked a Juneteenth cake. I did.
Cornbread?
You okay?
Cornbread?
Yeah. It's delicious too. You want to see it?
Yeah.
I made this. Look at that.
Oh,
it's actually pretty good. It's homemade.
Good.
It is, and it was sweet. I had extra honey. What's wrong, dude? You don't seem yourself.
No.
That's good.
I tweaked my back yesterday.
Oh?
Replacing my water heater. Getting the old water heater curb. So my back's kind of... So I can't do all the traditional Juneteenth dances that we all grew up dancing. I'm sure you remember them. And I woke up today and it's raining here in Texas. So, I mean, like 364 days of the year, all I think about every day is I really want it to be a sunny Juneteenth.
I'm sorry, buddy.
And it's raining. And I mean, you know the songs we all grew up with. I'm dreaming of a sunny Juneteenth. It's a tradition. It's always existed. We've always wanted a sunny Juneteenth. So, you know, all those games you used to play outside, all those sports, when all the family would come over as Mima and Pop are cooking in the kitchen for the Juneteenth.
Like the Juneteenth football game?
And you're all outside with your cousins. And
I didn't think about that.
And what was that game you played outside? I forget, but we definitely did it because this has totally been a real holiday all these years. And then you'd sit down at the table and your extended family all tell you stories of Juneteenth's past. Totally a real thing that happened. I just can't remember it at the moment. And what was that thing that always got made every Juneteenth for dinner? It's escaping me.
So, I mean, I get where you're at on this. I'm sorry, buddy. I mean, I wish I could have, I should have sent over one of the packages from the florist, and I didn't do it.
What's the traditional Juneteenth feast? Let's go to some of the experts on this. Google search, what's a Juneteenth tradition? And, and it actually says you should eat watermelon, which seems incredibly racist.
You're kidding.
That's
Are you serious?
Page 1 of Google. What is Juneteenth? Watermelon. Like that seems...
Barbecue colored food.
As someone who every year goes to Church's Chicken and gets a feast for our Juneteenth extravaganza, which in all honesty, this started 4 years ago as a way for me to convince our old boss, Keith Swarinsky, to pay for my lunch.
Yeah.
Which it worked. Got a free lunch out of it.
I mean, well, that's how you do it because it was a holiday. Right? And sometimes when you celebrate, and I went to the bank this morning and I didn't realize the banks would be closed because
they're closed.
I'm getting ready for the holiday. I'm like, dummy.
Good luck, dude. It's a banking holiday.
I know. And I was like, screw it. I'll just go return my library books.
No, you can't. You can't do that.
I'm like,
libraries are closed. My wife's car is in the shop right now, and it's been there since Monday. And the guy's taking his sweet time ordering the parts. He finally got us a quote. And yesterday, he's like, okay, transfer me money so I can buy the parts. It's ridiculous. It's a $200 part. Just buy the part.
Right.
And if we don't pay, you own our car. Like you put a lien on our car. It's a mechanic's lien. But no, he doesn't know about that. So we had to actually pay him. So my wife paid him yesterday. But he can't start today, Josh, because the bank hasn't transferred the payment yet. And they won't transfer it today because of Juneteenth.
It's a holiday. It's a
national holiday. He's literally sitting on his hands, won't fix our car because he won't buy the part because Juneteenth means the banks are closed. Stupid. My son is at camp. Actually, no, he's home today because the camp is put on by the local library. And as you just suggested, the library is closed for Juneteenth.
And I really
so he's just at home. He's just at home twiddling his thumbs.
Right.
But this is normal. This is completely normal.
Hey, did you get him a Juneteenth lesson plan for the day? Like maybe some of the coloring books we used to have when we were kids. And then the Crayolas, I mean, they got all the colors now. So we should be good.
This is how you know that me and Josh have been doing this together for a long time. because this was almost a bit I prepared for. I didn't want to pay the guy on Etsy $2.99, so I cheaped out.
Uh-oh.
But we almost played Juneteenth Mad Libs, which is a totally real thing.
Oh, dude, we
Totally not a thing that I invented. We can play a little bit of the first page. It
Really?
feels like a trap to get you to say the N-word.
Yeah. Really?
It feels no. What? This feels like a trap to get you to say the N-word. Juneteenth Mad Libs, totally a real thing. I am not making this up. You can buy this for $2.99.
It's real. Who's doing this?
Juneteenth Mad Libs. I'll say it, and then you fill in the blanks, and you have to work really hard not to say the N-word because it feels like it's a trap.
Okay. Thanks.
In the heart of a cotton field, a young
man
named Sarah.
It's 2024, dude.
Okay.
Yeah. It could be a young man named Sarah.
In the heart of a cotton field, a young man named Sarah dreamed of freedom. One Juneteenth, the news of emancipation reached her.
Hold on. Hold on. Give me a second.
I don't know where he is.
Awaiting ears.
With blank tears.
With lots. No, it's a single word. With happy
tears.
Happy.
She embraced her newfound
freedom.
Her spirit soaring like the birds
flying.
Years passed, and Sarah's descendants gathered each
Juneteenth.
Yeah. Celebrating their heritage and the
wonderfulness
made for their freedom. Is this crazy?
I don't know how to answer this. Like
it does feel like
like
you put this at like you bring this to some biker bars, like you might get some different answers. Right? You might get some very racist answers. But this is Juneteenth Mad Libs. I almost bought it. I cheaped out. But that's totally a thing. Totally a thing that you do every year. Play Juneteenth Mad Libs.
Well, that was kind of fun. Actually, it was actually kind of stress-inducing because trying to think of a word that I wanted to go with she, they, them, or them. Right? I didn't know what to go with at first. I mean,
finally reached her blank ears. Blank ears. What kind of ears does she have, Josh?
Right? Like I thought you can't say anything about size, right? You can't say anything about color.
Reached her black ears. Reached her black ears. It's a very strange thing, but that's totally normal. That is, and I think that this is in part, there's such a scramble to gaslight us into all believing that this has been a traditional holiday that we all have celebrated all along. Well, in the vacuum of actual traditions, people are trying to rush to figure out, well, what do we tell people to do? Yeah. And that is how you get the recommendation that you all eat watermelon on Juneteenth. You know what I mean?
It's just insane. Like this. So for folks who don't know, the watermelon was actually a huge sign of prominence for early African Americans right after slavery, because it was really the first crop they began to grow. Right. And I'm guessing it's just defaulting there. I mean, it was a source of income and it actually helped make wealth for those individuals. Right. So it's a big deal. But for somehow it's turned into like this weird pejorative, right? Like eat watermelon on that day.
This is the second result on Google. Wow. Eat watermelon.
So if you're planning the company Juneteenth party, I mean, and you show up with watermelon and you start throwing in some other classic stuff like
History Channel.
Red cake.
7 Juneteenth foods and traditions. Now this is the ultimate gaslighting because it's the History Channel trying to convince you that this is historical. When again, this is a federal holiday that's 4 years old. And what do? Eating red foods to promoting activism. This isn't a holiday. Do you know, are there any other federal holidays where you promote activism?
I don't have one right now.
mean, maybe
I'm
Easter.
bored right now.
Maybe Easter, the most radical form of activism, self-sacrifice. You could argue. Maybe you could argue that. Well, let's go through it. So, the Juneteenth traditions, that these are totally real and definitely not made up by Collette Coleman as something to fill a website. Okay, so they say feasts.
Okay.
We
got one of those
Juneteenth
holidays,
ads.
though,
We got
don't we?
Juneteenth ads. Foods integral to Juneteenth celebration since the start. Okay. Research says that feasts were common in the early days. So, okay, you eat food. Okay, you just eat food. Okay, I can get on board with that. I do. That's my Juneteenth tradition.
Yeah. I mean,
what kind of food?
I don't turn down a meal.
Red foods.
Okay.
So
strawberries.
You want to get again? This historian lists watermelon first.
And barbecue.
Watermelon.
Come back.
Watermelon, strawberries, barbecue, and red velvet cake.
I like all those. I'm just going to start right here. I love all those.
It's all good foods, but it's just like, it feels like this is a stretch. Well, what should people eat to celebrate Juneteenth? Well, eat the watermelon. Yeah. What else? Eating good fortune foods. So this is all just food.
Yeah.
It's like, what do we do? What do we eat? Okay. I can get on board with that.
Yeah.
Good luck foods, collard greens.
And then on this date, they may have red pepper included.
Black-eyed peas. I mean, they are literally just going down what are black people's favorite foods. Like, if you go to that website, I bet you most of them are on the Juneteenth thing.
This is wild, dude. This is just reaching for cultural examples of what should be celebrated on this day. I don't even
festivities.
Get it. Emancipation, big deal.
So, Juneteenth festivals. The parades, the fireworks.
Sounds like another holiday.
Have you been to a lot of Juneteenth fireworks?
With like in Chicago? Like what kind of fireworks we talking about?
I don't know.
No. I mean, the only fireworks celebration I know is for 4th of July. Which is, Independence Day. What Juneteenth festival is that? Like the is that the Abraham Lincoln parade that we're supposed to have on Juneteenth?
I'm asking you. I
don't know. I haven't seen one.
I know, but I want to give you a chance to remember.
I
definitely remember because I have a really good memory.
What we used to do.
I'm trying to find a video. There was a TikTok.
Yeah.
And it was this family at a parade. Here, I found it.
And it looked like
found it.
Oh, this thing says that we should be holding these things in a park and often includes a Miss Juneteenth pageant. Apparently, we haven't been doing enough pageants too. A parade, concerts, food, fundraising, and vendors selling Afrocentric clothes and jewelry. I've never had much of that in my wardrobe, but I don't think I can get away with that if I was to wear one at a parade.
That'd be called a cultural appropriation, is what they would call
I would probably not wear the traditional Juneteenth clothing, which like I'm just
so
curious.
Let's get out of the way. Juneteenth is a real holiday in Texas, specifically in Galveston, Texas, in that area of Texas, because Juneteenth honors not the abolishment of slavery, but a white Union general marching into Galveston and telling the last community of holdouts that, no, you can't keep holding black people in bondage. You have to free them. And if you don't, we have an army behind us. So Juneteenth celebrates a white Republican general marching into Texas and telling Democrats that we will use our army if you don't stop holding these African Americans.
Well, that's a pretty amazing
bondage. It is, but it's been a regional holiday, so it's a Texas holiday because of that. But the celebrations have traditionally been regional. Outside of Texas, it is a little bit younger than Kwanzaa in terms of how in terms of how old the holiday actually is. It is not an old holiday by any by any means. But there are activists who have tried to make it into a big holiday. And I'm not against celebrating the fact that a white Republican general marched into Texas and told the Democrats, we will use our army against you unless you stop holding slaves in bondage. I think that's a great thing to celebrate. It just feels like the themes that you're celebrating there are already being celebrated in other holidays. Martin Luther King Day being probably the best example of that. Talking about celebrating equality and we're all equal.
Mm-hmm.
President's Day. I mean, there's lots of other holidays where these themes definitely already line up. So it feels a little bit redundant. And then you have Democrats not just calling it Juneteenth, but calling it Black Independence Day. Now, these are the same people who demanded that the Black national anthem be played before NFL games alongside the American national anthem. It just feels like it's not an effort like Martin Luther King Day to bring us all together. It feels like it's an effort to drive us further and further apart. And that's possibly no better illustrated than some of the videos that people are putting out. Well, let's see how this person feels about Juneteenth, that they have to work.
I try to know that everybody does not have Juneteenth off. I'm stuck in this office, in the white man's office, working for the white man, real modern day slavery. Stop inviting me places because I can't go, y'all. I have to work, and I just want to know, are we getting paid double today? Not everybody, just the Black people. We better be getting paid double today, and I'm not playing.
That's the Juneteenth tradition. I mean, this is where it becomes almost comical that the way that people are responding to Juneteenth is the complete revocation of like equal rights. So rather than Martin Luther King civil rights movement, we're all equal. Everyone deserves equal rights, equal representation of the law, equal treatment. Juneteenth is really a perversion of that. And you just saw it with this one video. This woman is saying that Black people better be getting paid double today. Well, that, ma'am, is a violation of the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah.
You cannot pay people more or less based on the color of their skin. So it seems like we're almost like it's like we've done a U-turn. Oh, no, can't. Yeah. That's anti-gay. Can't use the word U-turn anymore. Seems like we've done an about face, and we're going the wrong direction. And then there's this woman.
There's more
celebrated by Black Americans. When white people ask me what they can do to embrace this holiday, I ask the same question: what about you as a white person, or what can you embrace about this holiday as a white person? What about this holiday says to you as a white person, I should celebrate this, I should embrace this? Even as a non-American, it's a good question for a white person to ask themselves. This holiday is also a good reminder. It's a good reminder, especially for white people, that not everything is for you, and that's okay. If you want to know how to recognize the holiday and acknowledge the holiday, pay a Black person. Whether it's a Venmo, a PayPal, a Cash App, whether you shop from their store, whether you invest in them through way of Patreon or something else, pay Black people. You have to think, we're celebrating our Freedom Day, our emancipation from being enslaved, and we have yet to receive any type of reparations for the many, many, many centuries that we were enslaved and considered property of people and less than human beings.
So it's a federal holiday that has closed down the banks, is closed down the local libraries, closed down local government offices. And she's here saying, this holiday isn't for you. It isn't for you. So it's not, you're not allowed, don't celebrate it. So what? We all just sit here and she's saying this to people who are fallen for like the virtue signaling and for the gaslighting. They're like, oh yeah, how can I be an ally? How can I celebrate this 4-year-old holiday, national holiday? And they can't even like welcome them in with open arms and say, yeah, glad to have you on our team. They're saying, no, don't celebrate. Give us money.
Which it sounds like an insult because why would you want to just give somebody handouts? Right? I mean, it just doesn't feel like she has the best interest at heart. And I'm really worried now because I've actually been trying to find ways to celebrate Juneteenth. And now I'm being told I can't do it, which kind of bugs me because I get the day off from like any federal job. So what do I do, Max? I mean, I'm not going to throw away the cake. I'm just not.
No,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
eat
you're
it
not.
because that's what I got to do. So, I mean, I don't know how to celebrate this thing anymore. Should we Venmo her?
Well, Josh, Venmo is, I don't know if it's officially trending, but every Juneteenth Venmo trends because Black people on Twitter all put in their Venmo account and I'll ask people to send them money. And this is one of the most, this will be by the end of the day, once the algorithm counts all up, this will be one of the most trending topics if it isn't already. That's Pat McAfee, but that doesn't count. Pay my debts, Joe Biden. Here's this one. 15 hours into Juneteenth, and I'm only at $20. Let's make this $200. Then she has her Cash App. Don't have Cash App. I have Venmo too.
Oh my, she's look. That's
yeah.
that's a
She's
little
a foot model
there.
She's a foot model.
Good for her.
Wow.
I just don't know if I mean, does people probably a lot of money.
You got to pay her $50 to DM, and she will unblock you for $500.
Oh well, I didn't know it's blocked.
And she is 4'10".
Yeah, and no nudes. I mean,
no nudes.
Good for her. Good for her. Good for her. So people do this. Like I this is actually my first of hearing this. And then so it has been trending on the socials
every year. Every year it trends on Twitter.
Holy crap.
Give me money. Give me money.
Man,
give me money.
I think what I'm really trying to figure out here is what is the spirit of this holiday supposed to be about? Because I'm trying to celebrate, I'm trying to do the right things, I'm cooking the food, I'm taking the day off. So I've just been told by people on social media now that I can't celebrate.
Nope, don't be there.
I'm in a bit of a quandary. What do I do about it? Right? Because if I ignore the holiday, I'll thus be racist, right? I mean, that would paint me in a negative light. So I can't ignore the holiday, but I can't do anything about the holiday.
Yeah.
So what are my options? Right? I mean, am I going to call a look?
Suffer. Just sit back and exist. I don't know. There's no answer.
What are you eating?
Oh, that was a jalapeno popper, which I don't think is a Juneteenth traditional food, but they are very good.
Make it one. We should make it.
They are very good from Church's Texas Chicken. Not a sponsor, but very tasty. I have it once a year.
Yeah. Actually, I do like Church's.
So this is the other one I wanted to show you because it's very funny. This is someone waiting for the Juneteenth parade to start. And make it full stream.
Looks lovely.
Can you hear that at all?
Nope.
So they're playing some music. All the kids are there in this neighborhood. It looks like they're the only ones there. But there is police caution tape waiting for it. That's not the funny part. The funny part is in the comments.
What is this? Who would?
Where'd it go?
People are vicious, dude. I saw one or two of those. Where'd it go? You got to go back.
Where'd they go? Here we go.
Ain't no stopping us now.
No shooting yet? No shooting.
Does that happen a lot here?
I don't know what the Juneteenth traditions are.
People have to deal with that.
It's just her and her family sitting in this residential area. It looks like they're the only ones there waiting for the Juneteenth parade. And just the comment is no shooting yet. And she responds, no shooting.
You know, and Tyrone's shoes, that's the person who asked, is actually probably pretty concerned.
She didn't respond like that's a racist thing to ask. Right. She says, yep, no shooting yet. Whew. It made me laugh. That made me laugh so much. It made me laugh more than it should have.
And we don't need any Juneteenth violence, Max. That is the one thing that we should not have is Juneteenth violence. We should all strive for a non-violent. To celebrate Juneteenth, right? I think maybe everybody just starts maybe we start doing a party. what if to help recognize that we do reenactments of the Juneteenth event?
What if we take that one TikToker's lead? This is crazy how just in sync we are. You know where I'm going. I know where we're going. And guys, we don't have meetings before the show to say what we're doing. We're just in sync. We just know where we're going with this. Let's follow that one girl's advice. And this is not a white people holiday. This is a black people holiday. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's look and see how their celebrations are going. And we can just kind of follow their lead on what Juneteenth looks like.
Okay.
So this is a video that's been making the rounds on social media this week. This is a Juneteenth pool party. People just get this is what she's talking about. This isn't for you, this is for us. The whole thing is we'll sit on the side and get involved.
Oh my God.
That's making the round. Again, I laughed harder than I should have laughed. I was like, okay, let's go to Twitter. What is everyone saying about Juneteenth? And it was just like, new Juneteenth pool party video just dropped. And just to beat the hell out of each other. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, I'm going to hell. I should laugh at
I'm
this.
shocked at the violence at a celebration. Did anybody text there? Any shooting yet?
I don't no, but that was the really like, oh, we're at the parade. Any shootings? No shootings yet. Listen, there are lots of white holidays where this happens too. Like you go to Boston for St. Patrick's Day, people are gonna get drunk. People are gonna start fighting. Even if you completely agree with each other, you're just gonna start fighting. It happens. But you don't really see this on Christmas. You don't really see this on like Veterans Day or Memorial Day. I'm sure there are some fights. It feels like this is what happens again in a vacuum. When you give everyone a day off, a holiday, and there really isn't a tradition for them to fall back on. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like, what do I do? Do we go and we light the menorah? Do we go, we sing Christmas carols? No, there isn't a tradition.
Yeah.
So you kind of get chaos. Like I watched one video of like, it's our 3rd annual Juneteenth get together. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah. They just went to a parking lot and they just sat in a parking lot. And there's nothing wrong with sitting in a parking lot, but that seems like a really weird tradition to create for something that's apparently so important. We need a federal holiday for it.
Yeah. So yeah, we probably should start putting a list together of things that maybe we should all do together. And I say we start with a reenactment of what happened
of the white general.
We'll start with a reenactment, then we'll go on to a meal, and then maybe we'll do a reading of the Emancipation Proclamation, because that was really important moving forward. And it was a big pivotal moment in the nation's history. So, I mean, that's one to really hang the hat on, right? That's a day to really put that out there. And then we could just, start pointing out who are the people responsible for making sure that slavery becomes abolished, right? That would be huge. It would be really important.
That is something that everyone can get behind, right? If this was about like celebrating slavery being abolished, fine. It just, again, it feels like that theme is already being celebrated in other holidays that are already national holidays. It seems a little bit of a redundancy, and that's not to say that it's not worthy of being celebrated. It just feels forced. It definitely feels forced. And the gaslighting to saying it's always been a holiday. Yeah. This has always been important to everyone. This has been a local holiday in Texas and Galveston that has been brought to the national forefront, not because it's organically happened, but because of virtue signaling. Joe Biden made this a federal holiday with the proverbial gun to his head. I mean, it happened. And you can't separate it from the fact that this was a response immediately after George Floyd was killed.
I forgot
So
about that.
you can't disconnect it from the fact that just months before this was declared officially a national holiday, you had largely African American demonstrators burning down entire city blocks. So like you look at it in that context, and you're like, okay, well, obviously there's a cause and effect here. Obviously, this is an attempt to placate that activist side of the Democrat Party. So we'll give you this holiday, and this has always been a federal holiday. It always should have been a federal holiday, and you're racist if you don't remember the Juneteenth's past, where you sat on your Mima's lap and she told you the tales of ancient Juneteenths. You're a racist if you don't remember that, because it's always been important. But it's I don't want to say it's a joke, because it's something that should be celebrated.
Yeah.
But elevating it to this position where you can't go make a bank withdrawal today from the bank. You use ATM, but you can't make a deposit at the bank because the tellers are all gone because they have to honor Juneteenth. I know people who their company sends out at the beginning of the year a form where it's okay, tell us what holidays you want off this year.
Oh,
there have been so many holidays.
Really?
There's so many holidays. They don't want to give you everything off. So people are asked to choose between Christmas Eve, Easter Monday, and Juneteenth. It's
Cool.
crept into equal footing with Christmas Eve and Easter Monday. And it's like, well, here's your flex holidays. Pick which one is written. And I get that, right? If you're Jewish, if you have a lot of Jewish employees, it might not make sense to give everyone automatically off on New Year's Eve, right? Or if you have Muslim employees or atheist employees, I get that. And lots of companies need people still to work on Christmas Eve or the day before Thanksgiving or Easter Monday. God knows the grocery store does, because I always forget to buy a couple ingredients and I got to run out and get it.
Yeah.
So I appreciate everyone who works those holidays. But the fact that they're now telling their workers, okay, you get so many holidays, pick and choose. What's more important to you? Easter Monday, Christmas Eve, or Juneteenth? The fact it's even in the same conversation as Christmas Eve, it's appalling. It's appalling.
I know. And with the political correctness everywhere, it's like businesses have to add that one on there, because if they don't add it to the list, they somehow are racist, right? Or it paints them in the bad light. They're not even willing to take the risk, right? And that's where we're at. A holiday that you if you don't celebrate it, you run the risk of being labeled something you're not. Yeah. And that's what really scares me about it. Now, I'm gonna celebrate the days. I think there's a lot that can be done with it.
Yeah.
It's a midsummer holiday right before the 4th of July. Or like pre-summer. I don't even know what season we're in, but it's one of those days where it gets warm and you get to go out and enjoy it. But
it's raining here in Texas. It's raining here, at least in my part of Texas.
It's actually cold here today. So, but do you feel like businesses have been strong-armed to have to recognize some of these holidays, right? Businesses get strong-armed depending on your group. I mean, sure, you're probably dealing with employees. If you've got a large Muslim population, right, you're probably giving everybody Ramadan and all that stuff. So it'll
depend. It'll depend on your employee base. That's fine. It makes sense.
Yeah,
I get that. But we're not coming at this from equal footing. We're not coming at this from everyone deserves recognition at some point in time, because everyone is valuable and everyone is deserving of being celebrated. I don't know if you watched this over the weekend at the Turning Point USA's Action Conference. Trump spoke at it.
Oh, yeah, I heard he was there.
There was a part during it. Now, I'll see if I can make this higher quality. No, it's low quality. But I'll go ahead and put this on the screen. There's not going to be any audio. Oh, wrong one. That's the fight. Someone went on stage, and this was part of the event. Went on stage, and they unfurled this flag for Charlie Kirk's organization. Coming out with sunglasses, a box. What's in the box? What's in the box? That movie. Kind Comes out, oh, it's a flag. What's the flag say? White boy summer. It's white boy summer, folks. White boy summer. Handing out hats to say white boy summer. Now, in a world where everyone can just celebrate their own identity and their own community, right? The identity they feel they belong to, you should have no problem with people jokingly tossing hats out that say, it's white boy summer, people rejoice. Here's what Patriot Takes said. At their Detroit convention headlined by Trump, Charlie Kirk's Joy group unfurled a white boy summer hat flag and threw out hats with the same slogan. White boy summer is a phrase utilized by white nationalists.
Really? I've never heard of such a thing. No.
Straight up white supremacy. What an insult to this country and the city of Detroit. Black people all over the place, they all love Trump with tears in their eyes, calling him sir. Wow, they're not even hiding it. Disgusting. Which is a piggyback off Hot Girl Summer. Never original, always taking. Charlie Kirk's white boy summer outfit, and it's a Klan robe.
Wow.
This seems like a lot of people are salty that white boy summer is being claimed for June. And Black History Month is in, I think, what is objectively the worst month of the year, February, the shortest month, the dreariest month, the least happy month.
Yeah.
And if they were smart, they would have made Black History Month in June. Oh no, sorry, that's Pride Month. You can't have that. Can't have that.
Oh, what about July? Can they have July? Can we move that?
There's something in July.
30 days has April, June. It's got 31 days.
May is Asian American Pacific Islander month.
We can't do May. Well, all right. If we can't do July because there is that whole American Revolution thing in there and the independence, maybe we move all the way into August if we have to.
Let's see. Let's look
because
July is Disability Pride Month, so you can't have White Boy Summer.
Disability Pride.
White Boy Summer can't happen there.
Okay. What if we move to September?
I think August is free.
You think so?
I'm not seeing it. Let's see.
I mean, it's like the end of summer. I mean, it would be a way to really get things moving.
Oh, I think we can squeeze in there. I think White Boy Summer. I think there might be room for White Boy Summer.
There is, because August. I mean, it's summer somewhere. I mean, if we got to go to March or something, what's wrong with?
Unfortunately, they squeezed in Women's Equality Day on August 26th.
So it's Women's Month. So we can't do August.
No, it's not Women's Month. Women's Month is another month.
Oh,
but they have a foothold on different months. September is Hispanic Heritage Month. Non-binary People's Day is in July. July is Disability Month.
Wait a minute.
LG Gay Pride Month.
February is the only one that has a single event, though.
Immigrant Heritage Month and Caribbean American Heritage Month. They got a raw deal.
Yeah,
having June. No one knows about Caribbean American Heritage Month.
No. And in the U.S., I mean, depending where you're at, it's cold.
Did they have a naked bike ride in Denver?
I don't know. We usually have one during Pride Month, I thought.
Did they do it? Because
I don't know if it happened this year. I didn't see anything on the news. Usually, you kind of see that stuff here. I don't know. I don't leave the house.
The controversy is that people are noticing that there's been some changes in the rules that the different pride parades or whatever, that the naked bike rides are no longer prohibiting children. And there have been reports that there have even been some children who have participated in the naked bike ride. It was funny. I was listening to country music here in San Antonio, and they said, looks like this Saturday is going to be a naked bike ride down by the Riverwalk. This is as good as any advance notice for you to stay as far away from the Riverwalk.
As
I was like, yeah, tell people to stay away.
That's kind of seedy. Like, it's one thing if you want to be an adult and you want to drive around with your junk hanging out on a bicycle. That's up to you. But when you get kids involved, like that whole let's leave the kids alone thing, I really strongly believe in.
No new age restrictions for World Naked Bike Ride after a girl participated last year. So they got all of the pushback. They got all of the criticisms. They said, we hear your criticisms that maybe men and women shouldn't be getting naked around children. We hear your criticism and we're going to choose to do nothing.
We're just going to make it happen anyway.
Yeah.
That's the I don't know. I don't know if I can get behind the naked bike ride on that one. That one I'm probably going to have to.
Is that where you're getting off? Is that where you're getting off the roller coaster?
Yeah, I'm not going to bake a cake for that one. I won't even do cupcakes. Like, it just gets weird from there. Because I'll bake for holidays. I will. Easter we always make cookies or something. Christmas, it's cookies, and Easter, we do the eggs, right? I think. Well, what do I bake for Juneteenth then?
Do you know who the Krasensteins are?
No, who are they?
Oh, you're not on Twitter. They are these small fellows, and I say that like it's true. They are exceptionally short, and that's something that people have been very surprised to learn about. I wouldn't be surprised if they were almost 5 feet tall. They're very short, but they're these two brothers, and they're leftists, and they're shills. They're on Twitter.
I think I know who you're talking about now.
They're on Twitter. They're brothers, and they are known for just having the worst takes ever. Like, if there's going to be a bad take, it's going to come from them. And they had a take on the naked bike rides around the children last year. At least Brian did. That was so bad. It continues to be shared this year. And like, you still say, when something's really bad? When it doesn't get buried and people keep talking about it.
Yeah. Keep showing
it
back
was talking about the idea of, is it right to have naked men riding around on bikes around children? This was their take. Number one, seeing a man naked on a bike isn't going to have much of an impact on any kid. They have likely seen their father or brother naked before. Sharing an uncensored video of a naked man on a bike to an audience of possibly 30 million kids on Twitter is arguably worse than riding a bike naked in front of a kid or two in a planned event that the kid's parents took them to. There are much worse things the average kid will see or hear online or offline in a typical week. That was him sweeping in to defend the naked men in front of children.
It doesn't make any sense anymore, Max. Like, how many people in a naked bike ride are there for the kids, right? And now they've got a place to go. And that really bugs me. I don't want that to happen at all. That's horrible. So now it's like a new avenue for these weirdos to go to. And they flock to it. I don't know. I think it's a bad idea. I think maybe we should not have grown-ass adults riding around bikes naked.
Anywhere.
And then adding kids to the mix is, well,
bad.
It's bad.
Listen, I think it is very interesting. Remember when Texas passed a law last year that said you can't have kids at pride parades and things like that?
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
Texas has also passed a law. Is it death penalty offense now for sexual crimes against children?
Ooh, that's the way it is.
I don't want to get this wrong, but they've upped the penalty. Yes, allowing the death penalty for those convicted of sexually battering children under the age of 12.
Wow.
So after that law passed, there was an uncomfortable number of LGBT activists who responded to that law being passed by going on Twitter and saying, I guess it's not safe for us to go to Florida anymore. There was a very uncomfortable number of people who posted that they're targeting the LGBT movement.
Whoa.
And that this is anti-LGBT. And we're all looking at this like, did you just say the quiet part out loud?
Yeah. Is there a reason
why? I was like, how did you read into a law saying if you sexually batter a child under the age of 12, you'll be put to death? How do you get out of that? They're coming for gay people. They're coming for trans. Is there something you want to share with the class?
Yeah, but there's a little more at play here.
Yeah, is there something you've been holding back on us? Do you know something that you've been publicly denying, but now that there's a law in the books that could be a death penalty offense, you're all very afraid. What's going on here, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think any other class of people looked at that law and said, oh, I don't think it's safe to go to Florida anymore. I'm not talking about individual. I'm talking about class of people. It's just a strange thing. It's one of those head starters. We're getting off topic. This is Juneteenth.
It's Juneteenth. So we should really get back to how we need to make it the holiday of the summer, like right after 4th of July, right? Like, I don't want it to be ahead of the 4th of July because, like, that's the important one, right? But Juneteenth, we can put right below it. We'll probably have some celebrations, maybe like a barbecue kickoff or a contest.
Shoot off.
Right. And then we can set up Venmo signs everywhere for your favorite person that we should donate to. And then it'll just bring people together. That sounds fun.
Texas coming in hot. Texas is so into Juneteenth celebrations that we actually held our first Juneteenth shooting 2 days before Juneteenth.
Wow, ahead of the game.
That's how you know we take it seriously in Texas. Round Rock, which is a suburb of Austin, there was a shooting at a Juneteenth celebration.
That's too bad.
Again, is there any other federal holiday that you can think of that has as many shootings associated with that holiday's gathering as Juneteenth? And I'm not saying that means that no one shoots anyone on Christmas or anything else.
Yeah.
I'm saying if 100 people go to 100 different Christmas gatherings, will there be more or less shootings than if 100 people go to 100 different Juneteenth gatherings? The data seems to suggest that there is a correlation between shootings and Juneteenth celebrations.
I don't know how to start extrapolating that data here. Trying to build this together. The only holiday I could think of was maybe like President's Day, because Lincoln took one to the head. I mean, that's one of the few.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Right? So that one counts because Lincoln was shot. So, but that's President's Day. It used to be we got both Washington's birthday and Lincoln's birthday off, but they just combined it to a single
This was a serious
holiday.
shooting.
Because we had two
killed, 14 injured. This wasn't just like angry person shoots his neighbor getting drunk on 4th of July. This was like gang violence. If you've been watching the Young Thug,
that's awful.
Have you been watching any of the Young Thug trial?
No.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Young Thug? No, not really. Young Thug? This is the guy that was dealing with who's in a beef with that other rapper right now, Drake.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he was on trial for something, but he's been implicating
Cannonball has a great answer.
Yeah.
Opening day of deer hunting. That might be the holiday that has the most shooting. You might be right.
Is that a federal holiday though?
Not a federal holiday. It's more of it's not even a holiday. It's just
one?
I would be okay with that. Okay, so Young Thug is a rapper.
Yeah.
I believe his beef was with Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne, okay. Which Lil Wayne's something else.
He's beef with a bunch of different people. And Young Thug is being prosecuted by the same Fulton County prosecutor's office that is going after Trump in Georgia.
Oh, so they're coming after him hard.
Except instead of the Trump case, which is being rushed as fast as they possibly can, the Young Thug case has already been, I believe, before a jury for like 8 months.
Wow.
Think about that again.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
When was jury impaneled?
Well, that's forever. I mean, but there must be a lot going on in that case. I mean, that'd be my guess.
A lot. So they've decided the jury was finally seated on November 1st of 2023. So yeah, 8 months. I was right.
Wow.
Those jurors are being paid the maximum of $30 a day, and they're not allowed to work as long as the trial is going.
Oh my God.
This trial is going to bankrupt these jurors.
Yeah.
this is probably the only case where I'd say they better be taking a lot of notes. They should all be writing their memoir right now.
Absolutely. Gonna have to get a book
Because
out for this.
they are being bankrupted by this trial. So the way it works, it's a racketeering case, and the state has decided to try them all together.
It's like a RICO?
So you have a bunch of these defendants all being tried together. So every time a witness comes up to the stand, each defendant's lawyer gets to take at them. So it's not just a one goes and one goes. There's a lot. Every defendant's lawyer gets to put forward their own objections, their own motions, right?
Whoa.
They're all being delayed for different reasons. It's turned to chaos. And the state's case is falling apart right before our eyes, where the witnesses are supposed the linchpins, the one who are going to prove the whole case. They're getting there and said, I don't remember what I told the cop 10 months ago. I don't remember saying that. I don't think that's what I said. And then they're playing the audio, and it's like grainy audio where you can barely even hear it because they have really crappy microphones. And you're like, this case is falling apart. But the big thing that happened was the judge in the case was just caught privately, secretly meeting with the prosecutor and a witness who had been pleading the fifth.
What?
The witness had been given, I can't believe you haven't seen this. The witness had been given immunity, but still pled the fifth, which you're not allowed to do. If they say we will not prosecute you for anything at all related to this, you can't then say I refuse to testify for fear of self-incrimination. The only thing you'd be able to conceivably do that is if you had like a wife. I can't be called to testify against my wife, but he doesn't. So they had what's called an ex parte meeting, meaning that the defense was not invited, in which the judge and the prosecutors, I believe it's the judge especially, threatened to throw the witness in jail until every single element of the racketeering case was finished, unless he agreed to testify. The defense attorney found out about this and basically filed a motion for mistrial that you can't be having ex parte communications with a witness threatening to throw them in prison unless they agree to testify on behalf of the prosecutors and not tell the defense about it. The judge didn't deny it. The judge responded by saying, how did you find out about this meeting? The lawyer then says, I'm not going to tell you. That's attorney-client work product, and I'm not going to reveal my sources. The judge then held him in contempt and tried to put him in prison for the next 20 days.
Holy crap.
The lawyer responded, asking if he can be held, in jail. Can I be held in the same cell as my client so at least we can work on the case together? This is craziness. The defense attorney almost got a sleepover with his young thug rapper. They're going to have a sleepover in jail. And so it's all true. They had this secret meeting.
Unbelievable.
And it's blown it wide open. The judge has not denied it. He says, how did you find out about it? Insinuating that he had wiretapped him or something. I'm not sure exactly where I went with this. It kind of fits into
yeah.
But it is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I highly suggest you go and find the people on TikTok who are talking about it.
Yeah, and watch because Fulton County
everything
sounds like it's crazy. Fulton County sounds like it is loaded with people who are willing to play with the law, right? That is crazy.
Yeah. So I recommend everyone check it out. If you want to see what Trump is going up against in Georgia, these are the same people, the same prosecutors' offices.
Yeah.
Fannie Willis. Oh, and she says don't call her Fannie Willis. She says anyone who calls her Fannie Willis has an obsession with rear ends. That's what she said at a speech recently.
What's
I guess her name's Fannie Willis. I'm still going to call her Fannie Willis because I don't think she deserves our respect.
Sure.
But you see what people are going through. And I'm not saying that Young Thug or any of these rappers are innocent, but the case that's being waged against them is held together with tape and chewing gum. And you realize that, oh my God, they took this to trial. Oh my God, this pure jury has been impaneled for 8 months. They're not allowed to work. and you just realize how corrupt everything is. Cannonball asks, is it true they put fences up around the Supreme Court? Yes, they did. They put fences up around the Supreme Court in anticipation of the Supreme Court's final decisions. The last time they did this was right before they overturned Roe versus Wade. So there's a couple things still on the Supreme Court's docket. They have, of course, the Trump immunity question. Can Trump be prosecuted for things he did while president?
Yeah.
You have to ask yourself, as Josh eats his Juneteenth cake, which is, interestingly enough, just cornbread.
Good too. Keep going. I'm listening.
Well, the question you have to ask yourself is, who is the fence there for?
Mm-hmm.
Is the fence there for us? Is the fence there for conservatives, or is the fence there for liberals? Who would be the ones to riot if things didn't go their way? I don't think it's conservatives.
No, not generally. I mean, the last time was when kind of Roe happened. It kind of turned into a crazy DC. So, yeah, and the last time we had fences up was January 6th too. So let's not forget that if you're going to go down there to speak your displeasure, they might throw you in jail, no matter who you are.
I think that the fences haven't been put up yet, but I believe they are planning on it. So, there's some debate over whether the videos are current or old, but it's another one of those head scratchers. Maybe it's a Juneteenth thing. That's always possible. Lots of people watching us on Twitter. Welcome to the show. If you like the show, be sure to follow, subscribe to the account you're watching on. We also go live on Rumble and YouTube as well. And we have the audio podcast, which is available pretty much everywhere podcasts are. We try and keep this fun, lighthearted, while also talking about real things, doing deep dives into stuff. Another case we're waiting from the Supreme Court. This is off the
Juneteenth.
I know a little bit actually.
Just go for it.
It's the United States v. Rahimi, which is a gun case dealing with felons should felons have their gun rights back, specifically domestic violence. It's the idea that if you are alleged to have committed domestic violence but never prosecuted and never charged or indicted with domestic violence, can that be a disqualifier? Basically, a guy was arrested and charged and convicted of illegal possession of a firearm, and the reason he was in illegal possession of a firearm was because he had been accused of domestic violence. But I don't believe he had his day in court. He hadn't actually been indicted with it. So it's a real question. Can you just indefinitely suspend someone's Second Amendment rights without actually prosecuting them or indicting them for what they're alleged to have done? The left is going to make this out to be, they're letting dangerous people have guns. The answer is, if you know someone's dangerous, charge him with a crime that would stop him from not only having access to guns, but having access to anyone, right? If you know someone's dangerous, charge him with a crime and fight like hell to make sure his bail is denied. That's what you do if someone's dangerous.
Yeah.
You don't say, we're going to sign away your constitutional rights and then never actually charge you and just let you just go on living. So this is going to be a case where the guy, the plaintiff, the guy challenging the law, Rahimi, it doesn't sound like a good guy in any way, shape, or form. No. But they didn't do what they should have done. They didn't indict him. They didn't convict him. They didn't incarcerate him to stop him from having access to firearms. They just wrote off his gun rights, that's a case that's coming. It should be here any day now. We will have to wait and see where that comes in. But depending on what that says, you could see a lot of firearms that are put into U.S. Code Section 922, which is where all of the gun laws are. A lot of those things could fall if the Supreme Court rules this one way or another. Well, Juneteenth is our Juneteenth extravaganza is almost over. We are running out of time here on Juneteenth, but Juneteenth is not something that only exists on this hour block of the show. It's not something that only exists on June 19th. Juneteenth is a state of mind. It's something that can be with us always.
Yeah, it's in our hearts.
You can put in your heart and you can go about the other 364 days of the year, completely forgetting that Juneteenth is even a thing. Let's drop the bit again. Let's just be completely honest. This is a gaslit, virtue signaling holiday that outside of Galveston, Texas, and the state of Texas doesn't really have any true historical relevance or historical celebrations outside of a few activists trying to make it a thing. Like you can look in the 1970s, there was a guy in Buffalo trying to make Juneteenth a thing. Doesn't mean it should be a national holiday. And it is a travesty of all travesties. I'm angry. I'm so pissed about it that my car is still in the freaking mechanic shop because the banks are closed and the mechanic doesn't think I've paid him yet. Pisses me off.
Right. And the libraries are closed and the kids have to be at home.
Yeah. And my kid can't go to camp. My kid can't go to camp because the camp's run by the library. And God forbid the librarians work on the most sacred of holidays, Juneteenth. God forbid, right?
Hey, buddy, happy Juneteenth. I hope to see
Happy
you
Juneteenth.
here.
Are you gonna Venmo a black man today or a black woman?
You know, I'm not in the position to be able to give money away right now. I wish I could, but I need every dollar I can get because when I started shopping for food at Applebee's or just food for today's event, inflation was killing me, dog. Like, It is expensive to go get chicken now. It's expensive. So I wish I could, but I can't afford it.
I might Venmo them like a penny.
At that point, wow. Yeah.
I might think about it. I'm thinking about it. If I have some Venmo money in my account, I might give them a penny.
Well, give everybody a penny. You get at least 100 people a penny.
Yeah. I can't get over. I couldn't find it for the show. But you ever see that picture of the very, very fat black woman who's like giving a lecture on like DEI, and she's like shaming the audience. She has her hands on her hips, saying "You're all racist," and on the whiteboard behind her, it's her Venmo demanding money. I'll see if I can find it. I'll post it on my Telegram, my Twitter. It's one of my favorite memes of all time because it really describes what we're talking about here. It is a virtue signaling, gaslighting holiday in which a bunch of people who were never slaves seem to be very ardently demanding that a bunch of people who never owned slaves give them money. And that's not really a holiday I don't want to get involved with.
Yeah.
But it is the one day a year that I eat Church's chicken. Not a sponsor, just tasty.
Just tastes good. All right.
Well, that's it. Any final words, Josh?
Yeah, share.
On this holiest of days?
Like, we really want you to share what we do here because the messages we do put out are important. We can be tongue-in-cheek at times, but really we're here to help preserve the Republic. And if you're not paying attention to us, you don't realize what they're taking away. So share, like, subscribe, and happy Juneteenth. Enjoy your food. I'm going to go put some candles in the cake, and I'm going to blow it out.
I thought you were just going to say you're going to light the Kwanzaa menorah.
Should I get one?
I don't know what it's called, but the Kwanzaa stole the menorah too.
I'm not Jew. I'm not no, I'm Christian. I can't. I got to go to the books to figure this one out.
Yeah, we got to ask someone who's been around for more Juneteenths than us what's going on. Well, that's it for this edition of the podcast. If you like the podcast, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We go live on Rumble, Twitter/X, YouTube. So find us there. We also have the audio edition of the podcast available everywhere that there are audio podcasts. So if you like the podcast, we try and keep it as audio friendly as possible. Subscribe, set up to auto download. And if you see an episode with the title that seems to interest you, give us a listen as you're driving around, commuting to wherever it is you commute to. Really appreciate it as we improve the numbers and grow the show. That's it for this edition of the podcast. My name is Max McGuire.
I'm Josh Hammerling.
Remember the fight to take back the country and the fight to preserve Juneteenth as the most historically relevant holiday this country's ever seen is not over, but the only way we win is if we all stand and fight together. See you next time and see you next Juneteenth.